All right, the next thing I'd like to talk about here are accessibility features. So if you go over to the side where it says accessibility, and there's a couple of things we're going to talk about here, but I'd like to start in this category up here that says vision. You can also just adjust display and text size right there, which we just talked about, so I'm not going to talk about that right now. There's also some nice zoom features here that you can look at, but what I really want to talk about here is spoken content. So if I click spoken content, number one, I want to make sure that button is turned on speak selection. Then I want you to look right here where it says highlight content. And if you click on that, you can turn highlight content on and then words, sentences, or words and sentences. I'm going to show you what this looks like. But I have words and sentences selected. And then depending on what you click here, you'll get different options here. So sentence style, I have a whole background color and I have selected it down here, yellow. And then word color, I have selected blue. So I'm going to show you what this looks like. And to do so, I'm going to need to pull up a website. All right, so let me just go to a website that's going to have some reading on it. And let's find an article here that we can just look at together real fast. Oh, here we go. Sounds interesting. Kanye West Yeezy Gap clothes are being displayed in giant trash bags. Okay, so let's say I was interested in reading this article. One thing I can do to help me with this is up here when I select the address bar, I have the if I click on those two A's right here, I can select show reader version, and it takes out all the ads for me. It makes reading on the iPad so much less distracting. So I know that can be really distracting. There's so many things to click on. There's things moving. Maybe sometimes things make noise. By clicking that reader version, it's really going to help simplify that. Okay. If I then highlight the text and I press speak, you can listen and watch and see what happens.
Kanye West, who changed his name to Ye in 2021, has come under fire for what's being described as a visual merchandising strategy at the Gap. Instead of displaying the latest Yeezy X Gap collection on traditional hangers and t-shirt plinths, the clothes appear in giant trash bags dotted around the shop floor. In a viral post now liked by more than 57,000 people, a New York-based Twitter user said Gap employees won't help you find your size too. You just have to dig through everything. The photo spread across the internet, with many declaring the unconventional display technique a social experiment.
All right, so you can see how by turning on those features, I was able to get my iPad to read to me. My whole sentences were highlighted in yellow, and each word was highlighted specifically in blue. If you don't really like the way that looked, you can always change that. And this might be something you want to play around with a little bit. You might want to say, no, I just want to do sentences, or I just want to do words. Any of those things are fine, but I would encourage you to think about these features. The other thing, as you listen to it, you might feel like the voice or the rate needs to be changed. So I have selected here English and Samantha. I have heard that the very best one, the very most natural one, is Alex. But you can see that's 869 megabytes, and if we all go down download Alex right now, the internet will probably stop working. So if you feel like you're going to use that voice-to-text feature, I would recommend sometime today during a study hall or lunch or at home, you could download Alex. You can also change right here the rate. So if you felt like that was a little bit slow for you,
Speak selection, read selected content.
If you felt like that was fast, you could make it go slower towards the turtle, or you can make it go faster towards the hare.
Speak selection, read selected content.
So this is the way you can change the voices and how that sounds. When I go back to the website, I also wanted to show you, even if you don't want something to read to you, there's a couple things that you can think about here that will really help you as a reader. So let's say I'm reading this article, and let's say I don't want it to read to me, but I did want to put it in the reader view, and I wanted just to read it by myself. One thing I can do is any word that I'm not really understanding, I can highlight it and I can press look up, and it's going to give me some information about that word. So it gives me a definition, it gives me some Wikipedia content, it gives me some links here, it gives me some web search information. So it's really thorough. So if you're reading on your iPad and you are not understanding something, using lookup can really help. The other thing is, even if you don't want it to read the whole article to you, if I was reading and I just didn't understand one word, I could highlight that word,
merchandising,
and just press the word speak, and it's going to speak that one word for me so that I can hear it in my ear. The other thing is I can press translate. And translate is going to show me right here in Spanish
Comercialización.
what that means. And so again, if you are a language learner and English is not your first language or your strongest language, this is a really helpful tool. And you can always change the language right here to or select more languages if your language isn't showing up here, so that you are able to access the words in your first language to really help you have more fluency as you read. The other thing you can do here is spell.
merchandising.
So again, if you're learning a language, that might help you as well. I wanted to show you just a couple more things. I know there's a lot of really good reading tools on here. When you are in this little reader mode, you can also change the color of the background. For some students, having the stark white page can be difficult, and so you can change that. And again, you can change the size of the text. So that's just something to think about as well. If I want to just go back to the regular website, I press hide reader view, but you can see right away an ad popped up, and if you scroll down, there's just a lot more going on in this page. So I would really recommend doing the reader.